So after subjecting myself to the absolute horror that is watching a Jewel Shimmer video, I think I can safely say that this is the worst Marvel Rivals video of 2026. For those likely confused as to what I'm talking about, a creator by the name of Jewel Shimmer back in September of 2025 had posted a Marvel Rivals critique to her channel, and it was only a month ago that I had made a video debunking this critique, as well as debunking a video posted by It's a Gundam in that same response. This is a direct continuation of that initial response that I made, as I will be responding to part 2 of Jewel Shimmer's character design critique. I'm going to be assuming throughout this video that the viewer watching this is familiar with the first video in my response. If not, I recommend that you would go watch the first response video that I made, as spoiler alert for anyone that did see that video, we're going to be treading over a lot of the same ground that I did in that original video. However, I don't want to repeat myself too much, so if she does say something that I've already gone over in my first response, I'm likely to just speed past it or remove the section from her video entirely. As always, there will be a link in the description below to her first video, my response, and the second video that I will be covering in this response if you feel that I am leaving any context out. Intro stuff out of the way, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get right into this shit.
The first skins I want to talk about are part of a series, the Disco Revolution series. This series includes skins for Spider-Man, Hela, Psylocke, Thor, Invisible Woman, and Luna Snow. Before I talk about anything else about these skins, I want to talk about their historical accuracy. Rivals has said that these skins were inspired by 1970s disco, and for most of the skins that makes sense. Sue's and Spider-Man skins are textbook disco, Hela's is a little more stylized, but you can tell it was inspired by disco. Thor's skin is actually inspired by a specific disco artist. John Travolta made this outfit iconic. In fact, various emotes and parts of MVP animations were taken from the big climax dance of the movie Saturday Night Fever that Travolta starred in. That was probably more disco history than you cared to know, but I bring this up because there are 2 skins that are not like the others in this series.
I'm gonna interrupt so that I can reinforce something that she says in this video, in which she makes it very clear to the audience, and I want you guys to keep this in the back of your mind for later, that these are not disco outfits, these are outfits inspired by disco.
Granted, this is just based off the light research I did, so maybe there is like a specific artist that these skins are based off of that I don't know about. Psy's skin feels unnecessarily sexual and inaccurate to disco fashion.
One of the biggest problems that Jewel Shimmer had in her first video is that she found ways to contradict herself a lot, and this is just another example of her contradicting herself. I'm gonna play a clip from her first video so you can see what I'm talking about.
Wanda has so many pretty skins, and none of them sexualize her. A few of them show a little skin, Emporium Matron and Chaos Phoenix, but there's a difference between showing skin and being sexualized. Wanda and other Rivals characters are the same way. Wanda's skirt is short in this skin, but it's not for the purpose of sexualizing her. Of course, the player can just buy the skin, go in the practice range, and do what the kids call a sky check. But that's on the player. She's not being marketed this way. But to summarize, showing skin does not equal being sexualized.
Of course, there could be something about the skin that is like super egregious, but because she didn't go into any kind of specifics, all I have to go off of is what she said in her first video, in which at least 70% of her video is contradicted by this one statement. She's also trying to imply that NetEase not going with 100% historical accuracy with their disco-inspired outfits is somehow a bad thing. Like, you're going to complain about the lack of variety and creativity in some of the skins later in this video, so shouldn't it be a good thing that NetEase is taking creative liberty in having variety in the skins that they're producing? Or is the problem once again that it's just variety you don't like?
There is nothing about Luna that looks disco. Her emote is taken directly from the choreography from Genie, a song by the K-pop group Girls' Generation. And do you know what her overall costume reminds me of? To me, it looks most like Taylor Swift's leotard thingies that she'll wear for performances. It could also be something from K-pop that I don't know about, but even if it is, that means it isn't inspired by disco, which is what the devs claim it's inspired by.
You're saying this like it's impossible to take inspiration from 2 different things. They took inspiration from the main disco theme, and they took inspiration from K-pop band groups that existed at the time, you know. Luna Snow is supposed to be a K-pop artist after all. Can both be true at the exact same time. An equivalent analogy that I can come up with to point out how how stupid this is to say a game like Ultrakill isn't inspired by Doom because you have unlimited ammo and a style meter. Just because you are taking inspiration from someone else does not mean you have to copy that person's work to an absolute T. Insert under the mayo reference here.
I was just so disappointed by this skin. Why is her butt out? What purpose does it serve? Rhetorical question. I know exactly what purpose it serves. This isn't disco inspired. Disco fashion uses dresses and pants, and this is neither of those. This is purely for sex appeal.
I mean, if you ask me, it sounds like this skin is perfect for you, seeing as you bought the summer skin for Luna Snow, even though it embodies everything you hate about the character design in this game. Hope you don't find a way to contradict yourself not even a minute after saying this.
But that's not even my main issue with the skin. If that were the only thing I didn't like about it, I would have bought it, but it's not.
Wait a minute, so you're telling... You know what, no, I'm just gonna play the section from my previous video. Why would you buy a skin that fits the description perfectly of everything you hate about the character design in this game, while simultaneously making you feel admittedly less comfortable? You could just vote with your wallet, of course, but when your opinions and beliefs are about as consistent as Sandman's morals, it must just become so difficult not to fork over your hard-earned money to that multi-million-dollar company so you can play as a rice bunny in skimpy clothing.
I don't like the tulle skirt sash belt thingy. I don't like the shade of super hot pink. I wish there was more blue. I don't like the hairstyle, can't figure out why. And I don't like her boots. I normally like platform boots, but these, everything just combines together to make her look like a clown. A sexy, garish, pink and blue clown. I do like her star-shaped sunglasses though. I think they're very fun and whimsical. Okay, but as much as I don't like this skin, I want to be clear that these are not like objectively bad things about the skin. The unnecessary sexualization of the female characters in this game, that we can debate about whether or not it's quote-unquote bad, but this is just my own personal opinion.
You know, Shimmer, that's great and all. I'm glad you're able to acknowledge that it's not an objectively bad thing that characters in this game have sex appeal, but, this you?
I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. Just because these skins are from comics doesn't excuse their overtly sexual design. Her sex appeal is like a central part of her character, but that doesn't change that I don't like it.
I cannot believe this shit!
Absolutely trash.
So after all this complaining about Luna's disco pop skin, now for the million-dollar question. Is it for the male gaze? Honestly, I don't think so. This isn't disco inspired. Disco fashion uses dresses and pants, and this is neither of those. This is purely for sex appeal. I don't like this skin, but I don't think it's selling itself with sex. This seems more like a fun, explosive outfit that Luna picked out for her performance. On the other hand, her butt is out, the tulle hides nothing, and she does step on the viewer in the MVP animation. So I would guess that the skin isn't for the male gaze, but there are, like, male gazy aspects to it.
So I guess we're creating new buzzword terms that we're going to use throughout the video to defend things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get away with defending in front of your growing audience of terminally unlined radical leftists that just absolutely glazed your last video despite how utterly terrible it was, as I've pointed out in my first response and as I'm going to continue pointing out in this video.
In my opinion, and not just mine, the worst skin in the 2099 series is Emma's Hellfire Protocol. Y'all know I am an Emma enjoyer.
Really? I had no idea. It's not the impression I got from your previous video.
Her sex appeal is like a central part of her character, but that doesn't change that I don't like it.
In case you guys haven't figured it out yet, by the way, I'm just going to repeatedly show clips from both her first video and this second video to showcase that she's just at times straight up lying, contradicting herself constantly, and it's just super obvious that this is a case of someone trying to LARP as a Marvel fan, and she's just clearly grifting, trying to engagement farm through posting rage bait content.
I yapped about her a lot in my previous video. And since then, I've played her a lot more, enough that I've gotten her to Lord, which, like with Luna, I wasn't even trying. I was just flexing tank when needed.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
Yes, he's right to me. I flex tank so often that she got to Lord without trying. But when I need to flex tank, I'm in a solid pick with formula consistently, even when I'm playing solo, which do not make the sport games solo tank. As a friend who wants to do well in the games, don't do it. I struggled and struggled and struggled to learn how to play tank. Playstyle just doesn't come naturally for some reason. But after a lot of practice and watching every tutorial, I find out how to play tank. I finally started getting the hang of it. I learned about anchor tanks versus dive tanks, I learned how to push and pull, I learned how to play cover in corners, how to stay alive, how to prioritize, and all that good stuff. So it's thanks to Emma that I can even play tank halfway decently today. And my opinions I expressed in my previous video still hold true. I still hate how sexualized she is. but after playing her for so long, my hatred has dulled to more of a dim annoyance. As Emma's my main tank, I've been on the lookout for a skin for her that I like. And every skin they've made for her I dislike because of how sexual it is, or because of how boring it is. I am getting so sick of cycling through the same 3 recolors and the Battle Pass skin. In Gambit and Rogue's trailer, we saw Emma with this suit, and many of us hoped that this would be a skin in the future. We hoped it would be released during Valentine's with Gambit and Rogue's wedding skins. Alas, no such skin came out, and I was devastated. The Hellfire Gala is right around the corner. It returns in April, and last year during the Best Dressed vote, Emma won and was promised an outfit for the gala next year. So we're promised a new Emma skin in April, and as much as I would like to be hopeful about this skin, I am not. I just know it's gonna be something super sexual that I hate. My only hope is that whatever they do, they make it something fashionable and unique.
We've got ourselves here the spawn of Andy Pants Gaming. What are you, a fucking time traveler? How do you know that the skin that they're gonna give the community completely for free, by the way, so they have no monetary incentive to do this? How do you know that 1, they're gonna make the skin super sexual and super revealing, and 2, how do you know that they're not going to give us the skin that they showed in this artwork, which every single outfit and character variant that we've seen in artwork and like the trailers, for example, has all appeared as a cosmetic in this game at some point.
Yes, I am one of the Emma fans who's disappointed in Emma's skin so far because they all look the same. I'm not saying they need to get rid of the shoulder pads and coattails, I'm just saying that surely they can be more creative than white leotard with coattails.
You know, I could go into detail explaining how the supposed Emma fan is just not actually a fan of her at all, because this person actually just hates every single thing about Emma, but I don't see a reason to go into any kind of detail because she says a blanketed statement, Emma Frost's skins are boring, and then doesn't elaborate or go into any specifics about what she's talking about.
Y'all, I was this close to buying her X Revolution skin because I see it so often that I'm desensitized to her front, and look at that coat. It's sparkly, it's black, it has diamonds, it's everything I want. And then, the Marauder skin came out, and delivered me from this torment of recolors and Phoenix Diamond. Finally, something new and fun and unique and not sexualizing for Emma.
This person is just so confusing. She goes from I don't like the sexualization of Emma Frost. I don't like it. I don't care if it's comic accurate. It's inexcusable. To, well, actually, I love her thick thighs. They're very comforting. To, yeah, I stand by everything that I said in my previous video. I don't like the quote unquote over sexualization. Blah 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 blah. To then, yeah, no, this skin that shows off her butt and her thighs. Yeah, that's not sexualizing her at all. And then she's gonna immediately contradict herself right after this.
Something other than a white leotard with shoulder pads and coattails. I didn't think they had it in them to make something not sexualizing for her, honestly. I do wish they had deigned to give her pants. I mean, look at this. This is just hilarious. I'm not even mad. This is just so stupid. Why is her coat magnetically repelled by her butt? Honestly, this isn't bad, and I will take what I can get at this point.
So you're not mad about the fact that Emma Frost isn't wearing pants, even though you did nothing but complain about this exact thing in your first video.
Rivals actually became quite notorious for their skins for their female characters, to the point where if you said you mained Psylocke, people would make jokes about playing one-handed. I read hardly any comics with women as main characters because these outfits made me uncomfortable. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. Just because these skins are from comics doesn't excuse their overtly sexual design. Her sex appeal is like a central part of her character, but that doesn't change that I don't like it. Sai's skin feels unnecessarily sexual and inaccurate to disco fashion. I was just so disappointed by this skin. Why is her butt out? What purpose does it serve? And my opinions I expressed in my previous video still hold true. I still hate how sexualized she is.
Absolutely trash.
Abruptly transitioning, the next two skins I want to talk about are part of the 2025 Winter Holiday series. the ice skating skins, Ice Phoenix and Ice Pas de Deux, which is Cloak and Dagger skin. In my mind, these two skins are like Disco Pop in the sense that I don't think these skins were made for sex appeal, even if they do have male-gazy aspects about them. I'm not gonna harp on these skins for too long. These are beautiful skins. I just didn't buy either of them because, you guessed it, their butts are out and I would be uncomfortable playing them.
So not only did she glaze the Christmas skins for Phoenix and Dagger, even though they look god-awful and they're barely wearing anything anyway, but the reason that she didn't spend too long talking about these skins is because she realized at some point she'd look absolutely stupid defending the Christmas skins for Dagger and Phoenix despite sharing pretty much identical artistic choices to the summer skins, which she did nothing but bash for being nothing but sex appeal for the male gaze and implied that it was objectively bad because of it.
At this point, I'm just getting bored of this. So many of our latest skins have been basic, sexy for the male sexual fantasy. Phoenix, Cloak and Dagger, Mantis. I don't think these skins were made for sex appeal, even if they do have male-gazy aspects about them. This isn't disco-inspired. Disco fashion uses dresses and pants, and this is neither of those. This is purely for sex appeal.
Absolutely trash.
The women are not the only characters whose latest skins are unnecessarily sexual. This is Bucky's latest skin, also from the 2025 Winter Holiday series. I have nothing respectful to say about this skin, so just here it is. The women are not the only characters suffering from this phenomenon.
You know, I actually would have liked it if you would go into some specifics about what makes this skin bad or so unbelievably revolting that you have nothing respectful to say about him. Because since you don't go into any kind of specifics, all I have to go off of is what you say in your first video, in which you seem to have no problem with Bucky as a character appealing to the female sex fantasy.
I remember back in the Tumblr Sexy Man days, can you imagine him calling you doll?
And you also have no problem with the men in your game showing off skin.
I love his red eyes, his ice horns, the fact that he's showing more skin. Bro is showing off cleavage.
And as you've already stated in your first video,
showing skin does not equal being sexualized.
And it's because of all of this that I struggle to see where is the problem.
What is the problem?
The next skin on the list is Mantis' skin from the Season 6 Battle Pass, Galactic Gladiator. In this skin, Mantis is wearing a skirt very loosely inspired by a Roman military uniform, with the strips of leather. I don't actually take issue with this skin being inaccurate and a little bit sexual because it makes sense with the lore of the skin. I want to say that this skin is not for the male gaze because just overall it doesn't give that vibe to me. The only exception is the gap in the skirt placed perfectly so the player can see her butt. That feels extraneous to me. I don't know, guys. Sometimes I think the swimsuits desensitize me to what is or isn't overtly sexual.
Actually, Shimmer, I think I have a much simpler answer for you. It's either you're a lobotomy victim that has a huge pornography consumption problem and you need to stop jorking it and get off the internet because it's clearly not doing well for you mentally, or you're just a huge grifter that doesn't actually believe the shit she's saying. I'm gonna opt to go for the latter on this one. To preserve my dwindling faith in humanity, I just need to deny the idea that people like you might actually exist.
Anyway, moving on, the lore of this skin.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna let you drag on about the story like you did with Emma Frost in your first video, in which you acknowledged the fact that the sex appeal that you hate so much with Emma Frost is utilized by the story writers to tell interesting stories that you otherwise wouldn't be able to tell with other characters, and you acknowledged that in your first video, but then before and after that you continue to say that you hate the sex appeal and you hate the character design for Emma Frost because of how overly sexual it is. And thus, by your own standards that you've repeatedly set in your first and your second video, it doesn't matter what the context is, if a character is showing their boobs or their butt at all for any reason, it is automatically an over-sexual design and it's objectively bad because of it.
In my last video, the newest character in the game was Angela. I didn't know what to make of her at the time because she had just come out, and I was desperate to post my video as fast as I could before they announced more beach skins or something. So now that it's been a few months and I've gotten to know Angela, I feel more equipped to talk about her. While we're talking about her, I should also bring up Rogue. Rogue is another female tank added recently. Both Rogue and Angela are attractive women, and I think both of them cater to the male gaze a little bit.
Only a little bit, chat. Only a little bit. I'm gonna skip past the part where she talks about Angela because there isn't anything that I want to respond to. The only thing I have to say is she doesn't even mention the fact that the wolf skin that Angela has is like obvious furry bait.
Rogue is just more conventionally attractive. She's thicker and softer. I think she looks great. She just has a different body type from Angela and Emma. I think having diverse body types in this game is a good thing, and although one could argue that many of the women in this game have similar or even identical body types, I love how different Emma, Angela, and Rogue look.
Translation: she loves big butt muscle mommies with thick thighs. I can't even say that with a straight face, guys. I'm sorry. Let's continue with the video.
I love Rogue's design, how she's a woman who's a tank just in her own body. I love that they made her look strong without making her look shredded, although she does have a six-pack. My one complaint about her design is such a small thing. It's her nails. Her primary attack is punching, and those nails are way too long. Punching with her hand in a fist like that, her nails are gonna cut into her palm and make her bleed.
You know, if this video and the first video that she made were just filled with clips like these, actual attempts at trying to critique the character design, even if it is small details like this, I would not have a problem with the content that this creator has posted. But no, this video and her previous one has just been obnoxious left-wing talking points, bad faith interpretations, and as I've pointed out, she has absolutely zero standards because she's grifting. I'm hoping that out of the 5.5K views that she's gotten from both of the videos that she's posted, that not a single one of them came from an MR dev that might hear the quote-unquote criticism that she's giving in this video and end up making changes that could negatively affect the game. There's a video by the creator ColinsWrld titled "The Problems with Modern Media Discourse," which is one of 3 videos that he's posted on this topic, and I recommend that if you enjoy the video that you're watching currently, that you go check out those videos because they're a really good watch. They'll all be linked in the description below. But I want to play a clip from that video real quick. One, because he explains what I'm trying to say way better than I ever could, and 2, is one of the biggest reasons why I post the content that I currently make on this channel. Take it away, my boy!
The people who bash things that are very good and bash them for very poor reasons. And that circles us back to another big reason why I make response videos in the first place. It's to defend things that I think are genuinely well made from bad criticism that could directly impact how creators think people view their creation, and it may cause the creators to cause unnecessary change that never needed to be made. A good example I can think of is Insomniac's Spider-Man games. People criticize the first game as copaganda, or that cops are too involved with Spider-Man or in the world. And this directly impacted Spider-Man 2 because the cops are almost nowhere to be found in the open world, or really in the story in general, which makes the world kind of feel less alive now in that area. I don't know if enough people realize this, but you can bet your ass that creators look at stuff like YouTube videos and discourse surrounding their projects. So the discourse we surround a project with can be detrimental to the quality of it, and it can also do the opposite, which is why I think response videos are a good thing. It can really point out the stupidity of the logic surrounding a lot of discourse, and people's standards for things.
Like I said earlier, all the videos Colin has made on this specific topic will be linked in the description below if you're interested. Now back to the video.
The reason I think Rogue is a little more for the male gaze than Angela has mostly to do with her skin, Savage South. So this is obviously for the male gaze. This is like swimsuit levels of sex appeal being used here.
So I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but she just said that a character's cosmetic determines if the character in question is meant for male sexual gratification. Even though 1, Rogue is putting her strength on display very similarly to how Angela does it, and 2, by this logic, every woman as well as a big portion of the men in this game are all exclusively made for sex appeal because of some of the cosmetics that they have, which includes your precious Wanda and Lena.
But the feathers in her hair, the teeth jewelry, her tattered outfit meant to look like animal skins. All of these things are accessories of the stereotypical Native American caricature.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What's that?
I did not think it was possible for her to reach a new low. It's like I'm trying to listen to the video and listen to her points so that I can respond to them. And then I go from listening to her critique the character design to getting hit in the face with the equivalent of this clip.
You know, black people.
The skin is called Savage South. The word savage has been used to demonize people by colonizers throughout history, so calling this skin Savage South and giving it these characteristics makes me uncomfortable.
That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, nigga!
Oh my fucking god, we are literally making up problems that do not exist for the sake of virtue signaling. I guess NetEase is sexist because they have a bunch of dialogue with Human Torch and Gambit where they're flirting / hitting on the women that they're talking to in the game. I guess NetEase is full of a bunch of anti-Semitic people because they regularly lean into the fact that the thing is Jewish.
Depends. Does that Logan owe you $200?
Yeah, he sure does. With interest.
And I bet that if you really wanted to, you could take various interactions with characters like Black Panther and try to put them out of context to try to make the developers look racist. Oh, but don't worry, it gets worse.
And I know this skin is from the comics, but let me reiterate. Making content based on sexualizing or even racist content does not absolve your content of the sexualization or the racism. If content is some way racist or sexist, and then you make your own content that's based on that original content, your new content will still have that racism or sexism, especially if you're trying to remain true to that original content.
Okay, that's great and all, but can you provide any examples of possible racism or sexism that's contained within Rogue the Savage Lands, the comic that this skin is inspired by? No? Yeah, I didn't think so.
None of that meant anything. Everything he said there had actual no meaning behind it. It's just a lot of fucking nothing. You just took a bite out of a nothing burger that this guy fed you out of his ass.
I don't think I can definitively say that Savage South is racist. Rogue is white, but I don't know how much that changes the situation. But at least to me, this skin doesn't pass the vibe check.
I'm gonna try to say this as calmly as I possibly can. Forget the fact that she just tried to imply that a character design where a woman is showing skin is sexism. When you are making a serious allegation against someone or something, and you cannot prove the allegation that you want to make, maybe, just maybe, get off of that fucking Blue Yeti mic of yours and don't fucking make the allegation! Can you tell that this video made me mad?
Good. Fuck you.
It makes me raise an eyebrow. It makes me suspicious. It's towing the line. It and the Mantis Beach emote are both getting dangerously close to the fetishization of minorities. Because it's not just that these cosmetics are getting close to racial stereotypes, it's that they're both inherently sexual skins. And including the maybe or close to racial stereotypes in their cosmetics makes me really, really uncomfortable.
I have so much to unpack with this little section right here. Where do I even begin? I'll start with talking about Rogue. The comic run that the Savage South skin is inspired by takes place on an island called the Savage Land. It's an island characterized by its prehistoric animals such as dinosaurs that roam around on it. You can literally see in her highlight intro her punching a dinosaur, and how you get, yeah, this is a racist depiction of Native American stereotypes is just beyond my comprehension. Do you think that the creative directors for the Monsterverse, for example, are racist for the way they depict the natives of Skull Island and the Hollow Earth? By the way, I really hope that the answer to that question isn't yes, because Black Panther, a character who was created as positive representation for the African community, by your logic is racist because of the way that Black Panther and the Wakandan people are depicted in the media they're featured in. And then we have the quote-unquote fetishization of minorities, which she only provides 3 examples of. Mantis, who she doesn't go into any kind of specifics or elaborate any further on. Rogue, who is a white woman born in Mississippi who committed the crime of carrying the teeth of Jurassic animals, and she has Savage in the name of her skin, so obviously she's racist and is fetishizing minorities. I guess Mega the Stallion is racist because she named one of her songs Savage, and she's also a peak example of fetishizing minorities. And her 3rd example is just another example of her yet again just making problems where there are none when she's talking about a skin that in her previous video she praised.
Compare these cosmetics with Wanda's Twisted Conjurer skin. I would argue that this skin also is getting a little close to a stereotypical gypsy woman racial caricature, but I don't know how much has changed because Wanda isn't white, she's Romanian.
I'm gonna end the video off here because everything else she talks about after this point is either stuff that I don't want to respond to or stuff that I already have responded to and therefore have nothing to add. Before I end the video, I want to take the time real quick to thank you, the viewer. Even if you don't agree with the things that I'm saying in this video, I at least appreciate that you took the time to watch my video throughout its entirety and listen to the points I'm making, and regardless, your watch time will always be appreciated. I also want to give a special thank you to ColinsWrld, SK, Thunderstruck115, Batakanta, and Snowbricks96 for being the biggest inspirations for this channel, as well as a special thank you to Producer Hits and Glitched Reaper, who are both my friends. Like the video if you enjoyed, comment if you want to share your thoughts, it'll boost me in the algorithm, subscribe, press the notification bell if you want to see more content like this. Check out my other socials. If you like the content you see there, then go ahead and follow them. Links will all be in the description below, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.